Hi, I'm going to be like, I was knocked out. Look at the color. I think it was Roger Rabbit who did it. What's with all the rabbits? What's with the Jack Rabbit? What's with the Jack Tail? And who's fooling around and jerking off on the job? You're jerking off at home, you're jerking off on the job. Your wife can't do the job for you before you get to work, before you forget all your problems. Hot under the collar. Of course, these words were made in repetition. Christ's number is perfect. It matches what's happening exactly now in the world. How does it work out? Latin, backwards it says Italy. Then they say it's Latin, it's part of French. Then Latin this and Latin that. Lighten up, everybody. Spain was knocked out early. Have they come around to Columbus to come back and collect their gold? Why was all this money dished out to China? Was it just a number? Because it's only a number. You only have to pay so much a month. What's the difference of the end number? You never get there anyways. Is there a payoff for all the North American births that came over here through Spain, through a connected way? You don't think trains go up the mountain? When they're talking about going up the mountain, they're talking about going up the inside of Earth, from one end to the other end. Imagine this, the angle of your TV set, or the football. Imagine you live on the top strings of the football. Right here, this finger here, the ring finger, one of the last fingers to throw that ball off, but we all know it's this finger here. That's the balance guidance. Talking about the trains going up the mountain. Don't you ever see it? Short lines, and then this way. Don't you see the Monopoly figures? They're standing up by 2, or they're this way going up by 2, or they're this way. But if you had them this way, they'd be longer because they're not a square. So short lines is this. But what happens to short lines the minute you run onto the tracks? Short lines does this, and then you get off right away. Or short lines is the way in, or short lines is the way out. But you understand what I'm talking about. Talking about how monopolies set up this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. How do the trains run? Here's a square. Okay? The trains can run straight across, but this is go to go. So now I have to split this board over here because I have to turn around my trains. So they make another monopoly board on the outside. In all actuality, if you look at this really and carefully, this is 4 aces. I'm gonna path it out for you. Okay, I'm gonna path it out. That when it's all done and said for, all the points will meet. Now, there you go. Now you got the same sign. We knocked out all the points. The outside of the Monopoly board runs into the train. The opposite side of Monopoly board now runs into the train. The opposite side of Monopoly board now runs into the train. Go to jail, visiting jail, go, and free parking. If you take a look at this sign, okay, try to see the inside. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to add on something to it. If I can get here with this. This square would be here, and this one would be here. This is the way it would go. Do you see this? Here's your corner. You come down to here, and you're only supposed to go to this point. Okay, I'm going to make the point. I just went a little bit further. See the way it works now? See the corners over here? We never get to go to the corner. We don't go around the corners. This is Monopoly. The game is we're only playing on one corner. We're going out one track, coming into the other track. First part of Monopoly, second part of Monopoly, third part of Monopoly, fourth part of Monopoly. We're just going around this track over here. Now if you take a look, that's the same design. Now Waterfront, I think it was Waterfront, Lance, you had that picture of that that emerald of that 18 sides. Well, this is part of it. It has to be. At the same time, if you start out over here, how would you play baseball? You play baseball over here, or would you play baseball over here? Home plate, first, second, third, back home again. So you're playing corner to corner, but this one's in center field. If he goes straight, he runs right into the field. He's not, if he runs backwards, he slides out into this field. When does he ever go to center field? Well, he's got to hit the ball out there, obviously. Unless the catcher throws it back to the pitcher, and then it goes into center field. But otherwise, this runner runs along the foul pole. This runner never comes along the foul pole. He either goes down into the dugout or he's coming around into home. How do the players running styles when they slip and slide and running back and forth, where will they end up? When will they end up here? When they're trying to steal a base. They end up in right field. Is that what right field is over here? Can I say this is right field? Because it's left field actually, now that I see it. But anyways, whatever field it is, all our games are wrapped up into here. And if you just put one big X in it, it becomes all the letters of the alphabet. The other letter I wanted to talk about, I'm going to try and see if I can get this a little bit higher. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see if I can get this right. Okay. The E, the A on the inside, and a dice cube. And if you want, even the mug and dovey. Down here, okay, is 10, 11, and 12. That's the floor, the command and the creation of the soul. We go up to here at 7, 9. But if we go from here, follow it up, and over here, it's 6. We go from here, follow it up, and over here, it's 4. 9 and 4, 7 and 6, both 13. This is the way the dice move. If you look at the opposite sides of the dice, 1 and 6, 2 and 5, 3 and 4, this is the way they move. So you'll know where you're going, what's where. It's on your telephone, it's the same thing. You can even turn it into the mug and dovey if you want. And in the mug and dovey, all you have to do is square off, because there's X's, there's no top to it. You square it off to make each one its own individual square. Now you can see where the numbers go. Raphael, 7286. My question is Spain in it? I mean, they must all be in it. Somehow they're all in it. It's all of Europe. Something about the moon of Titan. Something about the moon of Europa. Something about the moons. There's something about the moons. Okay? It's almost like when a moon somehow turns or moves, it's almost like somebody's watching the moons. They're not watching the stars or anything else. They're watching the moons. There's got to be a bunch of people watching the moons. We got to understand the names of the moons, where they came from. El Presidente, to me, says a little bit of Latin in there. Oh, say, can you see? Hold on a second. Where is Jose? Did he come into work today? Hey, Jose, can you see? By the dawn's early light, you're a little bit late, my chicken. Oh, say, can we see by the dawn's early light? What's so proud? I don't know. What's so proud? You tell me. Went to war, banged up a lot of people, killed other people, came back. What'd you get? A piece of earth? What, you told them what they can do and what they can't do? You're so proud? A bomb's bursting in air? That's ridiculous. Half the people don't want to see the bombs bursting in air. What are you proud of? Of the dawn's early light. Yeah, thank God it was all over. Just to start again by the early light. It looks like, do they fight at night? Or do they just have a war during the day? When are the nights and the days different in war? Is it just now in the 90s that we forgot about that they only fought mostly during the day? Did they fight in the 1939s? They said, you know what? The end of the race has come. The sunlight has gone down. We can't war in. And Friday night, it's Sabbath. You know we're both Hebes, so we better not fight. Daddy said not to fight, even though we know we're going home. That's right. We're going home. I heard that Alice said, alley-oop, alley-in, and an alley-out. Alley-up and alley-out. Scootle in, drop off your cash, and get on out. Now you can't pay for your house. We got your land legally. Doesn't this look like he's holding his hands? Here's an arm here and there's an arm here, holding it behind his head. And here's his antenna. Here's his nose. There's his mouth. These are all D angles. D, 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 D. Because everything goes into a D. This looks like an A, doesn't it? But if I held it this way, it would be a D. But wait a second, if I held it this way, you see an open mouth C. You got AC/DC in one letter standing up. Everything was combined together. We know what the E looks like, right, everybody? Everybody know why the E stops in the center? The E stops in the center for more than one reason. I'm going to show you on, it's what they call the flag stiff. See the F over here? You don't see the rest of this line except on the page because it's used up. So there's your F. Now if you lean it a little bit, now it looks like a corner in Monopoly. The E's over here, but that's pretty easy. The E's easy. You just have to take it from the outside corner and bubble it. Whoop, and bubble it in. Then it looks like a little clam that's hanging on the corner, or maybe a light bulb that's ready to be lit up. It's got a little eye on the corner. We made him into an astronaut, but he's holding on to the last part. Then you get onto this E. You notice why it's shorter, right? Because when you hold it up like this, you can see. So you see this one is longer, this one is shorter. Coming down here, and then we're going up here. It's all the figments of the imagination. Then you take the last one here. And now you got one up, two up, the other one is down. You have 3 rows in Rubik's Cube, 2 will be up, 1 will be down. You're turning it on its side, you're looking at a certain angle. How do you do Rubik's Cube? But square it off. Square everything off. You got to make everything square. Then cut the corners off. What can you do with the corners? Don't throw them out just because you cut them off. They belong somewhere. They didn't throw nothing out. They needed all the pieces, and they're running out. You know, I had this revelation and thought that the silver and the gold is going into their satellite communications and maybe into their new drones and iRobots, the silver and the gold. Or they used it to pay it off. But 9/11, Ocean's 11, where the safe was empty, where everybody is made to see that Fort Knox is full, but it's empty. They moved it all out. They moved nothing. All they moved were the trucks in your mind because you don't know what was in there. The first group went in, the second group went in, the third group went in. Now that it's all packed up, but it wasn't anything at all because they used it all up. They don't want us to know anything about silver and gold. Again, do not pray on the golden idol, but understand what gold is all about. Since it's so, my precious, Lord of the Rings. Did you see all the information he got while he was holding that ring? It's called an anneau. It's like a bull ring. It's information, it's knowledge. What you can do with gold is incredible because gold is always wrong. Do you know why? Because once it's right, it's not gold anymore. It's copper or silver or nickel. Gold is pliable. It's the knowledge you have in your head. The information and the disinformation is all gold because it's information. The truth of it is, if it tarnishes, it's been there a long time. It's been in the silver route. It means you never got rid of it. It means it's turning black. It means it's been real for a long time. But the gold, it's not like that. You never leave it in there long enough. Once you got the information, you turn it into some other color, but you don't keep it gold because gold is pliable. And we're not going to talk about iron or mercury because that's already been used. Just like the 45 degrees. 15 degrees of each Rubik's Cube? No. How much is it? Is it 10, 10, 10? And then you have to move through the center, 4, 5, 6. Is that what's 15? In between the two parts of Rubik's Cube? 2, 5, 8, 4, 5, 6, 15. Tennis mark? Then you get 10 across, right? 4, 5, and 6 is across for 10. 2, 5, and 8 would win the game, wouldn't it? Be the last time you get 5. Because you get to draw it this way, 5. I'll show you. This way. And this way. No crossing the railroad, please. No crossing the railroad. Please don't jump over the tennis court. But when there's a winner, the last one passes. Now you have a winner. Now, is it supposed to be a 6-point star or an 8-point star? As a 6-point star, it works out even better. It's 60 points, crossing through the center, matching the last 20. Because you go from 40, add 1, add 2. What are you adding? 5 and 5, 10 and 10? You're adding the same thing. Is the first point not worth as much as the second point because the second point gives game? Or is the second point just worth the totality between getting A and B? A and B is here and here. It's 11 o'clock, A and B. I can pull it all the way out here, but it's the same thing. It's 11 o'clock, A and B. So you got 11, 11, you jump the fence because once you get one A and B, you get the second A and B for free. 5 minutes and 5 minutes. Then it makes a candle, but my pen is writing out. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of things like that. Like I showed you this, right? Now, which way is he sitting? Is it this way? Do you understand? This is what we can do with it. It's a hookup. This hooked up to this hooked up to this hooked up to this. The light is on between the two, saying they're both lit up. Now, they're both sort of going the same way. But if I put the E on the other side, you'll see how they go into each other. And how do you design this? How do you know which way the faces go? Well, you tell me which way the faces go. You got to go with the flow. You don't use your own information. You play with it your own way. Your goal is to be able to play with what you have. So you play with the information. The heads are this way on the king, this way on the queen. The king of jacks faces. The king of diamonds doesn't face. When he faces up, he faces east. When he faces down, he faces west. When you put the king of clubs against, I'm not giving you any particulars right now. I'd have to pull out all the cards. Anyways, Raphael, 7286. Thank you.